Hey, what is up, guys? Bluntguts here. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I really appreciate it. I have got Season 6 range testing in the new tower map here for you. I know a lot of you are probably like, it's about fucking time, Bluntguts. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I have been very busy, as I'm sure many of you have as well. Holiday season is upon us. I've got a lot of things going on IRL, and that's kept me from doing this, but I am here to hopefully give you some insight into which tiles are going to be vulnerable to the various ranged units in this game, and we're going to get into it here. One thing I will say before we get into the testing, and that is that there's just not quite as much of it in this map as there have been in previous iterations of this video that I've done in previous seasons for different maps. There are two reasons for that. The first being the map. The map is structured in such a way that your most likely tank deployment spots are going to be closer to the demon soldiers than the corresponding platform tiles. And as a result, except for the garden guards, all of the other units are going to default onto the tank. And that kind of changes things up a bit, right? Because you don't want to, have your archers shooting Torador, for example. I mean, that's just not going to be effective. Unless it's a poorly built Torador or the Torador has no heals, that is not going to take him down. And the second reason is the Garnet guards themselves, because the Garnet guards have a more flexible targeting system, meaning that they're going to prioritize platform units, and even if they are closer to a tank. And that basically means that there are going to be a lot of situations where the Garnet guards would be able to hit something, but the other ranged units would not be able to hit them. And that means people aren't going to deploy on those spots. And that, it's good and bad. I mean, I like the flexibility. We all loved the idea of the Garnet guards. I don't know. This game mode has gotten a little bit crazy at this point. It's about to get crazier. We got a new demon soldier coming as well. We should start seeing that in the next couple weeks as well. So we'll see how that kind of shakes everything up too. But in any case, I think rather than me continuing to, explicate here, I think let's get into it. Let's get to the testing. All right, before we get into the actual range testing, I do want to talk about the potential defenses that you are going to see, really mainly just positioning, and that all kind of revolves around where you deploy your defenders. To my mind, there are 4 different tiles on this map where you could potentially deploy a defender. I'm going to go through them right now. So, for starters here, you see all of these different tiles, right? These green tiles that are on the ground. These are the spots that you can deploy ground-based units, but not all of these are going to be appropriate for a tank, right? You're not going to deploy anybody here because it is not going to be the path. The path, just FYI, if you don't know, the units go down, they go over, they go all the way up to this corner, then they go over again and then down. So there's no reason why you would deploy a tank here because it's not going to block anybody, right? Similarly here, you're not going to deploy anybody. You're not going to block anybody right there. You're not going to deploy anybody here. You're not going to block anybody. So really, these spots that I think are viable as tank deployment spots are this tile right here, this tile right here, this tile right here, and this tile right here. Now, I guess theoretically, you could deploy 2 tanks here. However, you wouldn't want to do that because that's going to leave all of the surrounding tiles, all of the surrounding platform tiles exposed. And you can't put yourself in a spot where you're going to be able to get sniped. So while I realize this is a range testing video, I do have to kind of narrow my scope as much as possible. So we are going to try to hone in on what the vulnerabilities might be for these different tank positions. And if there's not something that is an obvious vulnerability, then I am not going to cover it. I hope I don't miss anything as a result there, but I do think that I should be able to give us a good idea of what is vulnerable, what is not. Let's get to the testing. So the first test that I am going to do involves the tile that Lily is on right here that I do have selected. The reason that I want to test this tile is because I'm sure, just like I did, many of you did identify this as being potentially vulnerable to being in range of various ranged units as soon as somebody deploys on this tile right here. So what we're going to do is we are going to drop in all 4 of these different ranged units. We are going to see if we can't hit Lily, and we're going to go from there. So I'm going to start off with the Garnet guards here. We're going to see, you see they do path forward. They're not going to target that. I will put it on 2x speed here. Garnet guards are, let's see, They're hitting Torador, they're hitting Torador, they're hitting Torador. There we go. One shot at Lily at that point. That is important to note, particularly with the Garnet guards, because they do get stuck on units. We want to make sure that we understand exactly how many shots they are going to take, because that could be important based on, well, Lily. Ironically, we're hitting Lily right now, but Lily's Thorny Protection, Carnelian's Soul Essences, the unyielding that she does give to her allies. So all of these things do come into play. So we can do that. Let's take a look at the Bookkeepers right here. Kind of similarly, they are not going to attack, and I bet you anything they are going to attack Torador before they hit Lily, and they are. So that is just going to be a wash at this point. We see Garnet guards did get one hit in. We didn't see anything from the Bookkeepers. Let's try to toss in a couple of these. Oops, I didn't have enough. But there we can see the archers. They are going to hit Lily, and it's a good thing that I only dropped one, because otherwise she would be dead right now. So let's drop in a couple of these rare archers. Let's see. Are they going to attack? They are not. Let's see if they take any shot down in the corner, because they do have that weird kind of like range thing going on. And it does not seem like that is the case. Lily is not getting hit at all. All right. So in the last test, we were checking to see if a unit placed on the tile where I've got the Garnet guard right below where Lily is right now, if they would get hit by somebody when we deployed them on this kind of back tile by the spawn point. What we found out was that it was only the Soulbound Archers that did that. However, I've moved Lily back one tile. We want to see, one, is she going to be able to be targetable by the Soulbound Archers when we do drop them in there on that first tile? That's the first thing. The second thing we want to see is whether or not the Garnet guards are going to turn and target her. I don't think that's the case. I think they'll be out of range, and they're going to stick right onto Torador. But go and see. The other thing we can also check too is whether or not Ajax is going to get hit by the Garnet guards. None of the other units will target Ajax, because at no point will Ajax be closer to them than Torador is. And so ultimately, they, unlike the Garnet guards, the rest of the units, they do not prioritize platform units. They are going to attack the closest unit, whether ground or platform. So there's no need to kind of push it too far. And that's why in this map, honestly, I think the range testing is largely going to be, it's going to be a lot simpler than in previous seasons. And the Garnet guards are going to make it such, because you're not going to leave units out on an island as much as you would in previous seasons. So with that said, let's do some testing here. Let's drop in a couple of the, well, one of the archers here. Let's see. So he did not target Lily. Now I know for a fact that he is not going to target any of the platform units, because he's going to stick on a Torador the entire time. Torador will eternally be the closest unit to this Soulbound Archer until he sticks onto him and he starts taking up one of his block. Let's see what happens with the Garnet guards here. We're going to check and see if he attacks Lily. We're also going to see whether or not he's going to attack the Ajax over here before he gets blocked by Torador. The way that it works, if you don't know, Garnet guards will prioritize platform units until they are blocked by a unit. You can see that he did just skip Lily, so no attack there, and we can see no attack on Ajax either. As soon as the Garnet guard is blocked by a ground-based unit, they will no longer prioritize platform units. Even if those platform units are still in range, they are going to prioritize attacking the unit that is blocking them. So that is important to know about their AI. As soon as they stop, they're not going to attack platform units anymore. I will be back for the next test. All right, guys, I did make one significant change, but otherwise this defense is untouched. Torador was previously deployed in the spot below Abomination. I did move him over here to the left-hand side just to take him out of the match. Abomination is going to be our pseudo tank for the purposes of this testing for this round here. So what we're going to do is deploy Garnet guards. We're going to see whether or not they are going to target Ajax here or Hotsit. I think just none of the other units should target anybody else based on other testing. Abomination should be the closest one at all times, but I will drop a Soulbound Archer in there right now just to kind of verify that. And on top of that, we need to wait for Hotsit's invisibility to go away, because we don't want to just see whether or not the Garnet guards are going to target Ajax. We want to see whether or not Hotsit is going to get attacked as well, right? So that is important to note here. We want to see how many attacks are going to go off here. You can see there is kind of a 2-tile difference here between where Ajax is and where Abomination is. Same for Hotsit. So the range should be similar between, as far as placement is concerned. There we go. Hotsit is visible now. You can see that the Soulbound Archer did not attack anybody except for Abomination. So here we go. We've got the Garnet guards going in. There, they start attacking A-bomb, and I will try to slow it down as best I can when they get close here. Still on A-bomb. I think the next one should go on to somebody else, though. Let's see. Yep, right on to Ajax. Will they get another shot here? They will not. And I think if they did get another shot, they would have attacked Hotsit. So there you go. I think the Hatsa tile is actually pretty safe so long as you do have a tank deployed in one of these two north-south spots, either the spot where Abomination is right now or the spot directly below that. I'm not going to test any of the other units in here because we don't really need to know that they are just going to attack Abomination over and over again. I'll be back for the next test. All right, so one significant change here. I did move Ajax from this spot over here down to his current position, down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, kind of right above where my head is right now. What we want to see is whether or not the Garnet guards are going to target either Ajax or Hatsa at this point. I'm going to drop in, let's see, I'm just going to drop in one here. We're going to see whether or not they are going to target Ajax here. Slow it down. Not yet. They turn on that tile. Let's see. Are they going to target him there? There we go. Ajax took a hit. And we're going to see, are they going to target Hatsit now? They are going to target Hatsit now. Okay. Good to note. That is good to note. Looks like they didn't target Hatsit until they were on the tile right in front of where Abomination is right now. When I say in front, I mean down below, in front on the Demon Soldier pathing point. I will be back with the next test. All right, guys, last test for these defenses that are kind of, I want to say right side defenses. They're further right than the other ones are, but really kind of the middle defenses where they are in this kind of general area right here in the middle with Abomination as tank here. So what we're going to do, I want to see whether or not Ajax, Hatsit, or Lily are going to be hit here. I did move each one of these units back one tile, back further away from the from where the Garnet guards will be, in an effort to see whether or not any of these tiles would be clipped. Now, one thing I will note here, Hatsit, you can see Hatsit is not going to be able to hit in front of Abomination. I think the only one, let's see, Ajax has a three tiles in front, right? So 1, 2, 3. So Ajax would be able to hit in front of where Abomination is right now. Maybe that is something that you do. That might be something reasonable that you could do here. But I want to see whether or not any of these tiles are going to be hit. Let's give it a shot and see here. So, again, like before, the other units, the non-Garnet Guard units, are all going to default onto Abomination here. Anyway, so I'm going to drop in double Garnet Guards. We'll see if any of these units get hit. I don't think they will, honestly. I think they are all too far back at this point. Let's see. There we go. A-Bomb's getting hit right now. A-Bomb's getting hit right now. That turn was right when we started hitting stuff to the left of us before. It's still on A-Bomb. Still on A-Bomb. And just on A-Bomb. So none of those tiles are vulnerable, assuming that you do have a unit either in the spot where Abomination is right now, or really I think we can safely assume if you had another unit in the spot where the Garnet guards are right now, so right below where Abomination is as well. All those tiles are safe. Now, the caveat there, though, is that you need some relatively uniquely ranged units in order to take advantage of those tiles, because most of these spots are not going to be in range of the tile that the Garnet guards are on right now. I think Ajax would be one of them. He would be able to hit if he was facing to the right rather than the left right now, like I do have him. I think if you had a AoE marksman, who basically typically they get one extra tile at the end of the Hatsit range, which is on the screen right now, would be able to hit the Garnet guards there. So maybe that's something that you consider. They would be safe from getting hit by Garnet guards or any ranged units. So that is something to keep in mind. I will be back with some testing on the left-hand side of the map. All right, guys. So I think functionally the left side is going to be a little bit easier to test than the other side was, just because there's kind of a choke point over here. There's less open space. There's just less tiles where you would theoretically be deploying units. So what I'm going to do here is, or what I have done here, I should say, as far as my setup is concerned, what we want to be testing is largely whether or not, well, three things really. One, we want to see whether or not a ranged unit is going to attack Ajax before they attack Olag. I'm not sure. I think they will, but I'm not 100% on that. I think at least the epic archers will, but we'll test the BookKeepers as well as the rare archers as well. After we do that, I do want to test and see whether or not we are going to get some hits from the Garnet guards on the Vierna tile as well. I do believe that we will, but we'll have to wait and kind of see that. And then finally, we want to see whether or not the Lily tile up here, up at the top, is going to be vulnerable as well. So first thing we are going to do is drop in double archers here. Let's let them path on forward, and then I'll probably just restart. I did change up the units that I'm deploying here to make my life a little bit easier without stuns. There we go. Ajax just took a hit. Took a bunch of hits right there. So that is a tile that is going to be very vulnerable to other units. As far as the Soulbound Archers got hits in there, they're not going to target anybody else. But let's restart that. I just want to see whether or not Vierna is going to get hit by them as well. So let's take a look here, and I will drop in one of them, and then I can drop in a second one if Vierna is alive after that. I think they should be able to take out Ajax, but we'll have to wait and kind of see here. Here we go. Ajax down. Does not look like Vierna is going to get hit. So that tile is going to be safe, the spot that Vierna is right now, so long as you do have somebody deployed in the Olag spot here. I'll probably come back and test this if we remove Olag and we just have somebody in the Regulus spot, whether or not that tile is still safe from Soulbound Archers, but I do believe that will be the case. Let's do this again with some of the rare archers here, and let's see what happens with that. I think they should also hit Ajax, I would imagine. So I think this tile is just generally going to be a no-go. So yeah, not something you can do there. And I'm sure the Bookkeepers are going to do the same thing, but we will test just for sufficiency's sake. Let's drop in one of the Bookkeepers. We'll put it on 2x speed. One thing to note, we did see 3 hits go out from the Soulbound Archers. I think that will be the same across the board here because they do start. There we go. So you see, yeah, Ajax just got hit there. All right, so I do want to check and see whether or not the Garnet guards will target Vierna in the spot that she's in right now. I do believe they will. They should have plenty of time, but the question is, how many rock throws are they going to get at Vierna before? There's 1. Honestly, before they even made the turn, there's 2. Now they're on Olag. Back on Vierna. There's a 3rd one. And now they are stuck on the tank. So that is 3 different shots at the tile that Vierna is on right now, assuming a similar setup right here. Now, I do believe if there was somebody over here, probably one of those shots, or at least the first one, would have gone onto whoever was on the tile where this Garnet guard is that I'm shaking right now. Maybe I should use another one since, well, use the Bookkeeper right now. Where that Bookkeeper is shaking right now would have received the first shot from the Garnet guards. But assuming that they did kill that unit with their first shot, then 2 more shots would have gone onto the Vierna tile. So that is very, very important to note. All right, one more test that I did want to do before we move some tanks around. I want to see whether or not Vierna was vulnerable on this tile down here when we do have a tank up here. We do know that when we had units here, kind of where the Garnet guard is moving right now on the screen, that those spots did prevent the Vierna tile from taking any hits. So let's see whether or not that's going to be the case. I should say any hits from the non-Garnet guard ranged units. So let's drop in double Soulbound Archers. Let's see if they're going to take a shot at Vierna before they do turn upwards and go onto Olag. I do believe that she will be closer than Olag will be. There it is. So that tile is going to be vulnerable to archers. Let's take a look at the Bookkeepers and the rare archers as well, see if there are any shots that do go out there with these units, whether or not they might be vulnerable. There we go. So the rare ones did as well. And I'm sure that also means that the Bookkeepers will do the exact same thing. So let's just verify here. But otherwise, I think we can be pretty confident that this tile down here, yeah, is not going to be a safe spot. And that you would need heavy coverage on that. You would need to have a healer like a Lily or a Carnelian or something like that, providing some kind of unyielding. And even then, I would not recommend deploying anything down on this tile where the archers are shaken at the bottom of the screen. That is not a tile that you want to deploy on. All right, so I moved Vierna back 1 tile here. I am going to drop in. We're going to test both the standard ranged units as well as the Garnet guards, see if they can't hit Vierna. I guess we know that they're not going to be able to. Well, I don't know. I don't know that the Garnet guards won't be able to hit her. I don't think anybody's going to hit her, honestly. Yeah, see, they just turn up. So this is somewhat significant, I will say, because if you do want to deploy a Ingrid, Dahlia, something like that on this bottom tile, somebody with an extended platform unit with an extended single tile width range. So I think Ingrid has a 5 tile range. I'm pretty sure Dahlia has a 6 tile range. That is going to basically get you out all the way to here on the, is that right? Let's see. We've got 3 tiles here. We've got another one, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so the end of the range would be somewhere around here or here, depending on the unit that you're using. So that, I mean, that's a lot of range right there, and that's a unit that cannot actually take any hits. So, you know, think about it this way. They may not be active once the unit does reach the rest of the defense, but they might be able to take off some health, that kind of thing. I think Dahlia could potentially be powerful in a spot like that. All right, I think this is going to be the last set of tests on the left-hand side. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, there's just really not all that much to test in these new maps. Garnet Guards have kind of ruined the need to test a lot of these ranged positionings because everybody's kind of accounting for the Garnet Guards, right? So the tank always kind of has to be in front. As long as the tank is closer to the ranged Demon Soldier, non-Garnet Guards anyway, then the Demon Soldier is going to default to that tank because they don't differentiate between platform and ground and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to drop in a Garnet Guard over here. We're going to see whether or not the Garnet Guard is going to attack Vierna or Lily before they do stick onto Regulus here. I believe that they will, but I'm not sure who's going to get hit. Probably Lily would be my guess. On 1 speed. Let's see. Where's this one going? Still onto Regulus here. Let's see. You going to toss anything else out there? I think that went on to Regulus as well. That's kind of odd, honestly. I guess maybe it's a timing thing? Drop another one in here just to see. But I don't see anybody getting attacked there. Oh, well. Vierna certainly got attacked there. Let's restart this, and we're going to try this one more time. I think I dropped him on the back tile previously, so I'm going to drop him on the front tile, and we will see. We can drop another one on the back tile. We'll see if there's any difference in back versus front. Regulus, Regulus, Regulus. There we go. There is a Lily attack. That was on a front tile one. We'll see if the back tile one is going to do the same thing here. Assuming he gets there before Regulus dies, anyway. Let's see. Interesting. So if you deploy on the back tile, they won't turn up and hit Lily. But if you deploy on the front tile, they will turn up and hit Lily. Now, this is, of course, very, very subjective because if there is any kind of slow, stun, anything like that, then that's going to change up the timing here. But it does show that because of the attack interval, it can really change which tiles are targeted. So very, very interesting. I think I will move Lily and come back and we'll try it again, see if Vierna gets targeted. I don't think I'm even going to try Ajax, honestly, because he doesn't seem like he's not going to be closer than either Vierna or Lily. But I will come back. I will do one more test and see if that Vierna tile is susceptible. All right, so I did move Lily down into this spot over here. So when the Garnet Guards do get up there, the only unit that should be in danger here should be the Vierna. I don't think, again, that the Garnet Guards are going to have the range to attack an Ajax, but we will give it a good old try and we'll see here. So I'm going to drop one on the front tile and one on the back tile because apparently that makes a difference. So let's see what is what here. So a little closer here. There we go. So they did hit Vierna there. That is interesting to note. I guess, you know what, maybe I will come back and do one more attack against Vierna. You did see Lily didn't get hit at all down at the bottom there, so that could be a viable healer spot, I think, right? Because I don't think that we got any hits from the Epic Archers. We do have the longest range of all of them in here. They just turn up, right? Yep. Okay. So let me go, and I will move Vierna again, and we'll see if that changes things. If Ajax is able to get hits in there. All right. So I moved the Vierna down so she is now down here, down below Ajax. We'll see if Ajax gets hit, and also can just kind of talk through exactly why I'm stopping here. Now theoretically, I could move the tanks down. Let's see here as they get close here. Is Ajax going to take a hit before he sticks on Regulus? Nope. We'll see if the other one does. But I could move Regulus down here, basically, in between kind of Olag and Ajax where they're deployed right now. However, if you were to do that, you would just leave all of these other tiles open. I just can't imagine that's something that you're going to do in the current climate in GVG, so I'm not gonna test it here. But you know, if you can think of a defense that would be compelling in that spot, you do want to test it, please feel free to to let me know why I am wrong there, and nobody got hits there. So, you know, that is that, I think. So this Ajax spot is safe. I mean, if he was turned around the other way, he would be able to hit in front of Regulus. I still think that, just kind of in summation here, well, let's go to the map, and I will show you what I think that we have learned here. Well, that is that, guys. I do think a much more limited testing than we've done in the past, but that is a function of the map as well as the demon soldiers that we do have available to us now. I think that the Garnet guards have really, really changed the way that, one, we have to construct our defenses, and two, the way that we can construct our attacks. It really reduces the viability of a lot of the other ranged units, at least the ground-based ones. So, yeah, not great, but it is what it is. Maybe I need to come back and do an airborne test because the Garnet guards, clearly it's not a thing, but I think the airborne ones are a lot more straightforward. So I don't know that necessarily makes sense to do, but you know, we'll see. As the season evolves, I may end up coming back and doing that. But what I think we did learn here is that, one, I think this is on the right-hand side or the middle, you know, whatever you want to call it, that this spot where I've got Torador right here, that is going to be the optimal spot to deploy a tank on the middle defense. If you are going to be deploying a left side defense, I think that the spot where Ardea is going to be the optimal one. If you don't deploy there, then you're kind of sacrificing these two tiles right here. Now, you can't deploy anybody where Greed is, but you can deploy somebody right here when you do have a tank sitting out front there. So, you know, that is something you would have to be a tanky platform unit, so either a Greed, maybe or a Mari, some kind of CC champion that you can build tanky and still have them be effective, or potentially somebody like Praetus, who has very high base stats, who it's easier to build a significant amount of HP on. If you can get a Praetus up to like 35 to 40k HP, that is going to put you in a spot where you can definitely withstand a lot of the Garnet guard damage that is coming out. I think most of that kind of tops out at like 18k-ish, but I don't know. There's probably, I know somebody like Sassy has like 115,000 battle power Praetus or Eova. I don't know. He's got a crazy lord that he can deploy and affiliated demon soldiers. I don't know what the upper reaches are as far as like if you're like in the top 5 in BP in the game or something like that, but yeah. Typically speaking, though, as long as you can get to about 35k-ish HP, you shouldn't be able to get one shot by Garnet guards. Now, if they're taking multiple shots, then that's going to be an issue, obviously. But I guess what I'm saying, though, is that as long as you have somebody in the spot where Ardea is right here, then you do retain access to put a CC champion or another champion in the spot where Greed is there. There are other ways to do it. I showed you testing for other spots. You know, you can make your own determinations, try some stuff out, come back to the comments, let me know what you found and whether or not it's been effective. But in any case, guys, I really do appreciate you all tuning in. Please do like and subscribe. I will be back with a Central Keep video sometime in the next day or two. I know it's taken me way too long to get all this stuff out, but, you know, holidays and life and all of that. So I really appreciate y'all. Good luck tomorrow on your matches. I will catch you all next time.